Ministerial governance comes with strategic ministerial responsibilities to initiate people-oriented developmental programs, policies, and projects to drive socio-political and economic well-being of the citizenry, as well as positioning and utilizing the country's huge human and capital resources for national development. But come to think of it, how far and how well have our ministers, through their various ministries, fared in recent times in delivering the dividends of democracy? Welcome to the Ministers Platform. We'll tell you more when we return. Latest news information across federal ministries is next on Ministry News. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said the federal government was owed approximately 5.2 trillion naira in debts. The minister, who stated this during a two-day sensitization workshop on Project Lighthouse, organized for ICT and account staff in federal ministries, departments, and agencies across the North Central Zone in Minna on Thursday, said the debt was owed by over 5,000 companies and individuals. The minister, who was represented by the Director of Special Projects, Victor Omata, said that these debts cut across 19 ministries, departments, and agencies. The Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, has described the temporal opening of the second Niger Bridge as a solution to the perennial traffic challenge being experienced by commuters on the first bridge, especially during the festive season. The minister was speaking during a visit to the second Niger Bridge to assess the level of preparation before the opening, which took place recently. The bridge was constructed to complement the first Niger Bridge, which is being overburdened by constant and heavy vehicular movement. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Works and Housing has also temporarily opened the entire Abuja-Kaduna-Kano road for commuters to ease traffic movement during the Christmas and New Year seasons.
It's not a bridge to grandstand. It's a bridge about human beings, about lives. And so we thought, if it is motorable, let us open it for the period it was meant and conceived for, and beyond that period, so that people can begin to feel that relief, and we can begin to then see the impact on poverty in terms of time spent just trying to cross the river.
The Federal Ministry of Interior and the Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, in continuation of its implementation of passport administration and immigration service reforms, have launched a special fast-track service that enables Nigerians with expired passports living in foreign countries to return home without any hindrance at all ports of entry. The service, which will be available for 2 months, also gives the returning Nigerians opportunity to renew their Nigerian passports during their stay in the country as part of the multi-layer strategic reforms of passport administration in the country. The federal government on Wednesday said it earned a total of 393 billion naira in the Nigeria Electricity Supply Industry (NESI) in the first half H1 of 2022, the highest in 8 years. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, said these are the 11th edition of President Muhammadu Buhari's Scorecard 2019-2023 organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture in Abuja. The minister also disclosed that in the recent October billing cycle, the sector recorded a new milestone with the highest ever collections in history at 74 billion naira. The federal government Thursday launched the National Rice Development Strategy (NRDS2) and the Comprehensive Africa Rice Platform (CARP) Nigeria 2 to galvanize productivity along the value chain. The launch was made by the Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Honorable Mustapha Shehu, while delivering a keynote address on how to reinvigorate rice production and sustainability of the commodity. The Minister of State said the launch of NRDS2 became imperative as the demand is high and calls for more investment, which had earlier witnessed high production under the first phase of it. The federal government has said it executed 553 projects across the 9 states of the Niger Delta in 7 years from 2015 to 2022. The Minister of Niger Delta, Umana, stated this at the 12th edition of the President Buhari Scorecard series in Abuja. Umana noted that some recovered funds by the EFCC will be used to finance specific critical projects in the Niger Delta.
The ministry is constructing interstate and other road projects in the region to add to the national road network. And within the period under review, over 6,000 women and youths trained and empowered in various vocational, entrepreneurial, and agricultural skills.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation on Thursday said that Nigeria is seeking technical cooperation with the International Maritime Organization (IMO) to upgrade the Maritime Academy of Nigeria (MAN) into a degree awarding institution. Disclosing this on Thursday during the 2022 graduation ceremony of the Maritime Academy of Nigeria in Oron, Akwa Ibom State. The Minister of State for Transportation, Prince Ademola Adegoreye, explained that the federal government is also seeking support from the IMO to the Academy in securing the STCW Convention requiring sea time on board foreign-going ships for our teaming cadets. And finally, on Ministry News, we bring you top news headlines across federal ministries in the country. It's time to keep you abreast with governance from the presidency. President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday in Washington, USA, restated the determination of the Nigerian government towards achieving the vision of 30 gigawatts of energy by year 2030. The president, who said this during the discussion panel on just energy transition at the US-Africa Leaders Summit, also used the opportunity to outline the comprehensive energy transition plan unfolded by his administration in response to the issues associated with climate climate change. The president stressed that the Nigerian government has embarked on several reforms, one of the best in Africa, on mini-grid regulations, as well as integration of renewable energy into the national grid. President Muhammadu Buhari says he has done his best for Nigeria. The president made this assertion in Washington, USA, while meeting Al Mahfoud bin Bayer, Secretary General of the Abu Dhabi Forum, and Bob Roberts, his deputy. President Buhari was said solving the problems affecting youths is a priority of the government as a country with a better future, noted the need to raise generations of youths devoid of religious extremism and bigotry.
It's an important moment for the president, coming at a time when two things are happening simultaneously. One is that there is a downward trend in terrorism, in banditry, in kidnapping, farmer-herder clashes. In our country, things are coming down. And also generally, there is increasing activity by the government of Nigeria to stabilize the entire West African region. That all of these things that are going on, the efforts to stabilize the country and also, create peace in neighboring countries, it is for the future of our young people.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate disbursement of $350 million Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, CVFF, to indigenous ship owners after 17 years waiting. The president had in 2019 and 2021 approved and directed the disbursement of the CVFF through the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, but for administrative purposes, it was delayed.
I will not end this speech without bringing further good tidings to the shipping community in Nigeria. I have just been informed that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has approved my request for the disbursement a Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund. It is my belief that finally we are going to break a 17-year-old jinx that has hindered the growth and expansion of our domestic fleet.
And finally, from the presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari recently urged members of the All Progressive Congress APC to unite and cooperate with one another as a prerequisite for victory in the upcoming election. The president spoke when he received the governorship candidate of the APC in Katsina State, Dr. Diko Rada, and his running mate Farouk Lawal Job at his residence in Daura. President Buhari said the party leaders need to sit together, avoid divisions, and ensure unity to avoid defeat at the general elections. On Talking with the Minister today, on the Minister's platform, we present to you the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, who is ready to give us an idea and deep insight into his major policy initiatives, programs, and projects of his ministry under his leadership. Nigeria has witnessed a revolution in the telecommunications and digital economy sector of the country. And of course, this to a large extent has changed the fortunes of the Nigerian economy. And of course, one ministry that is saddled with the responsibility to shape the destiny of this country in this sector. We're talking about the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. So let's welcome the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ibrahim Pantami. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
To propel the country towards attaining a vibrant digital economy, The federal government, through the ministry, unveiled a roadmap in the form of a national digital economic policy and strategy, 2020 to 2030. What is the success story of this policy so far, and what are the challenges?
Thank you very much, my brother, for giving me the privilege to discuss about our journey so far with regards to digital economy in Nigeria. And I welcome you and your esteemed team to our office here in the Digital Economy Complex in Bora, Abuja. You could recall that we were appointed as ministers officially on the 21st of August 2019. The first thing I did was to have an engagement with the CEOs of parastatals under the ministry to identify what they were implementing and the gaps, and to come up with new initiatives that will make the sector more vibrant. After my engagement with them for at least 1 week, I discovered that what was missing in Nigeria and in the ICT sector then was digital economy. And digital economy is strongly recommended to have its own ministry or to have its own special office for its coordination by many institutions like World Economic Forum, European Union, and many more. And that is why in countries like Scotland, like Thailand, and many more, you will discover there is a Ministry of Digital Economy. After the review, I went to His Excellency, Mr. President, to brief him. And he was convinced that there was a need to have a ministry that will champion the implementation of a digital economy in Nigeria. Based on his directives, I sent a proposal to him, and it was approved on the 17th October 2019, and it was presented before the Federal Executive Council on the 23rd October 2019. A day after, that is 24th October 2019, we commenced the implementation. And that day happens to be the National Digital Economy Day in Nigeria. We commemorate and celebrate and create awareness about digital economy on the 24th October of each and every year. I set up a team of experts from government, industry, from academia, using the triple helix model, where we brought all stakeholders together to come up with a policy. I led the team that developed the policy, particularly these three key stakeholders: government officials, industry, and academia. The policy was reviewed and enhanced significantly, and His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari launched and unveiled the policy on the 28th of November 2019 at the International Conference Center here, Abuja. When the policy was being crafted, the implementation commenced immediately, because there are key issues that are very static. Wherever you go, they must be accommodated. Also, we developed another roadmap. There are two different documents. There is National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for a Digital Nigeria, acronym INDEPS. And there is roadmap for the implementation of INDEPS. That roadmap brought out some key initiatives to be implemented so that we can achieve the key objectives of the main policy, the actionable plan. In the policy, there are 8 pillars. Number 1 is developmental regulation. Number 2 is digital skills and literacy. Number 3 is solid infrastructure. Number 4 is service infrastructure. Number 5 is digital services promotion and development. Number 6 is soft infrastructure. Number 7 is digital society and emerging technologies. Number 8, indigenous content development and promotion. These are the 8 pillars, and these 8 pillars cover almost 99% of what the sector requires. And all these policies today are being implemented. Developmental regulation, we have developed so many regulatory instruments through the regulatory institutions and parastatals we supervise. We have many regulatory instruments developed by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. Many have been developed by Nigerian Communications Commission. We also have regulatory instruments with National Identity Management Commission. These are the regulatory bodies we have, and it is their mandate to be guided and directed to develop the regulatory instruments. We use the word developmental in order to change the perception of our citizens, most probably using the adjective developmental. We could be the first country in the world to introduce what we call developmental regulation.
There are significant achievements your office has made. Let's look at your ministry moving to accelerate the deployment of 5G services in the country with the approval of an enterprise licensing agreement for Microsoft products and clearing up of C-band spectrum. Can you tell us more? Because it's a major landmark achievement. And to what extent will this move change the industry and the economy?
Microsoft is not playing any role directly in 5G, but is playing significant role when it comes to providing digital services and also digital skills and literacy. The president of Microsoft, Brad Smith, was in Nigeria less than 3 months ago. He visited President Muhammadu Buhari, and after that he came to my office here. We had a meeting with him. We have an agreement with the Microsoft to train young Nigerians. Based on the agreement, as part of their corporate social responsibility, they will provide digital training, advanced digital training and intermediate trainings to a minimum of 5 million citizens in Nigeria for free. This is indeed very commendable. The recent agreement is not for the deployment of 5G, but we discovered that many institutions of government are purchasing Microsoft license in their activities, NNPC, CBN, many more. And huge amount of money is being spent in that manner. And they are doing it alone. Sometimes there is too much duplication. Sometimes the price is not negotiated the way it is supposed to be. So Microsoft has different agreements. If your institutions want, they can purchase it one by one. If you like, as a government, you can have an agreement with Microsoft. You negotiate the price so that you can have universal service agreement that each and every institution of government that wants to purchase Microsoft will leverage on that agreement you have and purchase it. With this, firstly, it will reduce costs. Based on our computation, it will reduce government spending by 36%. That is minimum, the amount being spent. Number two, it will enhance the quality. Why? Because Microsoft, if it is true government, it will continue to provide support after sales. And thirdly, also, you will be able to avoid duplication. By avoiding duplication, you will save another huge amount of money beside what I earlier mentioned. And there was an agreement like or similar to that in 2006, which is around 16 years ago, but it was not sustained. But now we want to sustain it. That is what brought about the whole argument. It's not in any way saying that each government institution must patronize Microsoft. It is optional. As we all know that 5G is not just a technology today. It is just like a revolution in the digital economy sector. It has been deployed in so many developed countries. In the US, there is 5G. In the UK, in South Korea, for example, there is 5G. In so many European countries, they have deployed 5G. Our journey for the deployment of our 5G in Nigeria commenced since the time I became a minister. Officially, it commenced around October or late September and early October, a month after our appointment. Through NCC, we granted the approval to MTN to kickstart the process of trial for 5G deployment in Nigeria. So we did the trial. I personally did the trial here in Abuja on the 25th of November 2019. We did the trial in Abuja and few other cities like Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Ibadan. 3-month trial. After the trial, we reviewed the report of the trial with all the major findings from the trial, and the report was very positive. Early 2020, many of our citizens were worried, linking 5G to COVID-19 pandemic. As a responsible government, no matter how you think people do not understand a technology, you cannot ignore their genuine complaints. We put the process on hold and directed NCC to engage our citizens and create more awareness, and at the same time, we also make more consultations. So as I'm talking to you today, we are almost done with the 5G trial. We have auctioned 5G in Nigeria, and things being equal, 5G4 will be deployed in Nigeria in the next 1 month. Most probably around August, we will have 5G for commercial services. And there are so many benefits. It will significantly drive our digital economy because of that high quality and very fast broadband that is very high. We will require that in our major cities like Abuja here, like Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Kano. These are some places where you need high quality broadband with very high speed. So I think it's very important, and 5G will allow you to have real-time communications in education, in health. With 5G, even remote surgery can be conducted. A surgeon or a medical doctor could be in the US or in China or in Dubai or in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, will be able, with a patient in Nigeria, he will be able to conduct a surgery. With 5G, most probably, you will not have much problem with your family going for holiday. 5G will allow you to have a virtual holiday. You sit at home in Abuja or in Lagos with your family using augmented reality and virtual reality. You take them for a holiday virtually to London, to New York, Washington, to Dubai. Wherever you want to go, you can do virtual holiday. So these are some of the benefits of 5G. In agriculture, is applicable. It will enhance digital agriculture or smart agriculture.
So that's it on Talking with the Minister for this moment. The Minister's platform will continue in a moment. Still on the Minister's platform, let's now present to you facts you need to know about the Nigerian Correctional Service. The Nigerian Correctional Service is an arm of the criminal justice system domiciled in the Ministry of Interior. The agency is a federal phenomenon, meaning there are no state correctional service in Nigeria. Every custodial center is a federal facility. The service derives its operational powers from the Nigerian Correction Service Act 2019. The duties of the agency is to take into lawful custody all those certified to be so kept by courts of competent jurisdiction, produce suspects in courts as and when due, identify the causes of their antisocial dispositions, set in motion mechanisms for their treatment and training for eventual reintegration into society as normal law-abiding citizens on discharge, and administer prison farms and industries for this purpose, and in the process generate revenue for the government. Their vision is to establish a credible prison service which, through excellent penal practice, seek lasting change in offenders' attitudes, values and behavior, and ensure successful reintegration into the society. Their mission is to promote public protection by providing assistance for offenders in their reformation and rehabilitation under safe, secure, and humane conditions in accordance with universally accepted standard, and to facilitate their social reintegration into society. There have been massive transformation in the service since 1972. It has undergone some reorganization from its modest 3 directorates in 1980 to 6 directorates in 1993. It was removed from the civil service in 1992. It now has a command structure that boasts of 8 zonal commands, 36 state commands, 1 FCT command, 144 prisons including farm centers and 83 satellite prisons. It also has 4 training schools, a staff college and 2 borstal institutions. At the level of manpower, the service now boasts of more men of the professions, cutting across medical officers, environmental health officers, sociologists, psychologists, lawyers, general administrators, engineers, and other specialized areas. Currently, the Nigerian Correctional Service is fully modernized, creating the enabling environment for proper treatment and training of offenders. The Nigerian Correctional Service is currently under the able leadership of the Controller General, Aliru Nababa.
fact that there are no strict laws that governs or guides.
Today, the Nigerian government makes huge sum of money from taxation. But is the development in the country commensurate to the amount of money paid by Nigerians? Nigerians share their thoughts.
We are in the dark. We don't know how much it's generated. We don't know what it takes and all of that. So to me, I don't think it's comparable to the development we are experiencing now. Now, if you tell me, okay, it's development tax, there's no parameter to measure. If we are paying tax, we need to know, okay, how much is this tax? What is the value of this generated tax? What are the developments we are looking at? And then that's the only time we can actually say, okay, fine, this is it and this is not.
To start with, the tax collected is not even up to what should have been collected. There are so many people who have not been captured into the tax net. That is acceptable. But even the one that are being collected is not being used in the manner that's supposed to be used, because there are so many leakages here and there, even in the tax administration. And that has badly affected the development that's supposed to have come up vis-a-vis the quantum of tax that are being collected from people. Aside the natural resources that brings money, tax is another good source of fund. Nigerians should brace up and open their minds towards paying taxes. But the greater of the appeal will now go to the government and the tax administrators. Once people see that the money being paid, if they see that are being used on the road, on other infrastructures, transportation, this and that, people will be encouraged to pay.
From all I can see, Nigeria is still a developing country, and I believe we have all it takes. Those in government, I believe, are just being so selfish, and it's really setting back development in this country. And if you can imagine, take, for example, Lagos. The state alone generates a lot of tax. Peradventure, yes, you could see a lot of development, but if not for their selfish interest, I mean, Lagos must have gone far. Aside Lagos, talk about Nigeria alone. It's just one thing with Nigeria. The rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. Those on political powers would always want to maintain the wealth within their own circle. So I hope with time, just as people do say from the onset, it go better, is it till I die? But one thing I always tell people is, if you don't better for you, your family and your household, Nigeria don't better.
Presently, no. All the money they're collecting for tax is the height of corruption. They're using it for their personal interests, and God will judge all of them. All the money they have lent from different countries, they will not see any development in this country. Pure water now is now 250 naira everywhere now. So they should just stop any form of taxation from all Nigerians henceforth.
They are ripping us, and simply because no one is talking. The only way for us is to rise up and fight for our rights.
The tax is okay, but the way the money is going to is not okay. So, but I will advise Nigeria, the problem of Nigeria nowadays is not a region, it's not a tribe, but how the money spent. Something they're supposed to buy maybe 10,000 naira. They will inflate it to 200,000 naira. Divide that 200,000 to 10,000. Know how many quantity we buy. So that is the problem we have in this country.
Well, from their responses, they feel the Nigerian government should be able to justify the huge sum of money generated from taxes collected by the government from its citizenry. I am Abisola Oladele. The platform continues shortly.
Bringing you progress report at the ministerial level of governance on the minister's platform enables you to make informed judgment about government's commitment to economic progress. Join us again on TV Nigeria for another informative package. Remember, think Nigeria.